Hello, everyone, and good afternoon to you or wherever you are right now in the world. My name is Stephanie, and I'm currently working for AIESEC, the world's largest youth-led organization. So I'm originally from Austria, but I'm currently living in the Czech Republic to work on the regional level for Europe. In the next 30 minutes or so, I will guide you through something, how you can find your internship through AIESEC, and I will also give you some tips on how to build or structure your CV for your international opportunities, so you can also maximize your output in finding an internship. Cool. So also, don't feel afraid to ask any question. I will try to answer all of them in the coming minutes, but if it's not possible to answer all of them, then also feel free to join me at the info booth in the career part right after this, and then we can hop on a Zoom call together and we can also discuss them separately after. So without further ado, let's get started into the topic. So in case you have never had a chance to interact with AIESEC before, AIESEC is a youth-led organization. So we're essentially a youth leadership movement. And what does this mean? Our mission is similar to what you would hear maybe from JCI or the UN, Peace and Fulfillment of Humankind's Potential. But that seems very broad. So how we are trying to achieve this is by developing the leaders of the future and providing them challenging experiences that enable them to apply what they learn in their education to different cross-cultural contexts. And if you think, okay, leadership development is also such a buzzword nowadays, what does that mean for us and for AIESEC? Well, in the past years, like 20 years, we defined a model for us that is the key qualities that you will be developing if you embark on an AIESEC internship or any experience with AIESEC, which is those 4 qualities that, based on a lot of customer interviews and different qualitative processes, we have found out is the things that people develop most in their experience. So and that is also some of the critical skills that are needed according to the World Economic Forum for you to be more employable in the coming years. So then maybe you wonder, okay, so how can I actually go on a global talent internship with AIESEC, or why should I even do that? How is it working? I also had a lot of questions from you in the past day. And so why go on a global talent? Like, first of all, when you go abroad, like companies, they want international talent, they want different perspectives, and they want your input. So that is also they understand that diversity is a very big factor in becoming better. So that's one of their key values as well. And then this is a good way for you to explore the industry that you would like to work in, or the different field, and to try out different things also in different cultures and backgrounds. And at the end of the day, this is also for you to gain a professional edge, right? Like, working abroad experience is something that will help you a lot to advance in your career path, personally and professionally. Good. So maybe to give you a few details of the global talents that we offer. So basically, we have a platform that is called AIESEC.org. Maybe you have already seen it. And basically, all our opportunities, they are handled through this platform. So essentially, you sign up on the platform, you look through the opportunities, you can apply for them, and the whole process is going through the platform together with your local manager that will be assigned to you to also help you navigate through all the different positions and finding something suitable for you. But we have 3 different lenses. So if you would like to go on a global talent, you first need to think, okay, how much time do I have? How long or permanent do I want this to be? If you go for 6 to 12 weeks, some of them are unpaid. The accommodation in almost all cases is provided here, though. Everything above 8 weeks is paid. And then those are short-term internships for you to explore. You also have less requirements that you need to have. So you don't necessarily need to be a graduate, but for 6 to 18 months, for example, we're looking into more permanent placement, right? So the aim usually of our partner organizations is also to build you up and keep you for longer afterwards. So if you're looking for something more permanently, you might want to go for the longer ones. And then here you can see an overview of the main fields that we're working with, but For example, I had a lot of political science majors, and I used to major in political science too, so I can relate to you. So that doesn't mean that you cannot apply to the opportunities, because you can always apply to the positions that are for backgrounds such as business administration or economics or anything connected to business. Usually that is never a problem. And we have a lot of political science or journalism majors that are frequently applying to our opportunities. So don't feel discouraged by those fields. There's a lot of things online, and you can for sure find something that fits you. Cool. So just to visually show you as well the 4 steps, how you can become an intern. Essentially, it's a few more steps when you need to do your selection process as well. But how it starts is that you sign up on the platform just with name and password, and then you fill your profile. So we have, with all your skills, really take a few minutes to just think of all the skills that you have that are in the dropdown. So when you apply to an opportunity, they will also all show. Then you can search for the different internships that you want to apply to. And also, as you sign up, you will be assigned a local manager. So you can always contact that person through the platform and get in touch with them. Then you can exchange phone numbers with them, and also even have calls to understand better how you can optimize your process. And they will help you to find the perfect internship for you. So always utilize on them, because they know what's going on. And after that, if you're going to go through the selection process, they're all outlined on the opportunities, how long it should take approximately as well. You will be contacted. Usually the first interview is with someone from AIESEC. And then if you're making the shortlist, you will go further to talk to the organization or the company to make the final decision. And if you're selected, or when you're selected, then comes the preparation. So that is also something that is really important to us, because we do this for you to develop. Essentially, this is our whole mission, right? We're not a for-profit organization or anything. So for us, this is when the beauty starts, when we're helping you with all the logistics support, with also the visa process and so on. We're always supporting you and making sure that everything goes as smooth as possible. You will have incoming preparation as you enter the country, and also other different things, like we will help you integrate with our network and so on, so you don't feel alone or you never feel left. We'll also bring you to the first day of work and all these type of things. So we really want you to have a good and a learning experience. And I already saw that one of the questions is for languages bachelors, and I will get back to you later, because we even have a specific program for that, which is cool. So now I have some tips for building your CV and for international opportunities. So some things to keep in mind. But my first disclaimer for this is as well, always make sure that you before check again, based on the opportunity that you're applying for when you do a CV, what country it is in, because certain criteria are very country specific and even position specific. If you're applying for a scientific based internship, versus if you're applying for a marketing internship, that is 2 very different positions and 2 very different ways of positioning yourself. So that's just my disclaimer. This is a more general thing, right? So let's look at the general part. I've also done a lot of shortlists in my time from AIESEC. So I've seen a lot of CVs in the past life, and they are really the first idea that a recruiter has. If they're they're not going to spend 10 minutes on your CV. I can promise you that. Or if they're spending 10 minutes on your CV, then they are already very interested. So that means that the way your CV looks makes a very big difference. So a lot of you probably have used Europass CVs or some templates like this before, but often it is more seen as lack of effort than it is as a good thing. So unless this is mandatory for some positions, sometimes you have it mandatory, so everything is perfectly unified. But if that's not the case, I would recommend you to look more in a customized template and do something yourself. Also try to stick more to 1 page or have it rather shorter than longer, because you don't need to include all the information, just the relevant things that will set you apart. And then for the organization in general, try not to have it overloaded with too many things or too many colors, so it looks very clean and neat. And then for the background, like just make sure it represents yourself and what you're applying for. So again, if you're applying for, if you're an economics major and you're applying for something that is more research focused, you might not want to go out there with 100,000 designs and colors. But if you're marketing, if you're more into marketing, then that's your signature, right? So, and I already said that, but now as we go into the structure, adding personal information or the picture specifically, this is very different per country. So always make sure before you send a CV, for example, in the US, as far as I know, it's a no-go to put like personal information on a CV. So make sure to Google this right before, so you're not being rejected because of a formality reason. Like that would be very unfortunate. But general, like when you structure is try to have a picture there that should be professional. Try not to have a selfie or something that is very casual because that's not going to appear well. And then always try to have a brief introduction about yourself that shows who you are, what you're a major in or what you're looking for, and give some personal information. Again, this very depends. Sometimes it's also outlined of what you can name and what not because of GDPR reasons as well. And then when it comes to your skills, try to look like always adapt them based on what you're applying for. Some skills are not relevant for some jobs, but some are very much, and they can set you apart. So make sure to always adapt these to what you're applying for. Don't forget to put your languages and always put your level. Be honest with that, because lying is, or like making it look more beautiful is overall not going to help you in case you need those languages. And then also for academic experience, don't put anything before university level, because in most cases it's not relevant. Like no one wants to know if you're from Austria and you want to work in the UK, no one wants to know where you went to primary school in. So you can skip that information. And for professional experience, always make sure to include a description, quantifiable achievements or something, because otherwise people don't really know what you did in there or what you accomplished. And last but not least, don't forget your extracurricular activities or interests. It shows like different ambitions. It can show who you are if you're, for example, volunteering, and who you stand for. And it also shows like extracurricular engagement, right? That you're a hardworking person who cares for things. And then when you start with the summary, try to have it brief. Don't write one page just of a summary, because then it's not a summary, but give them an idea of who you are. And here as well, some guiding questions that you can take into consideration when you're doing this. So also this is one of the variables to always adapt as you apply for different positions, to show that you're not just sending your CV out there to 100 companies or organizations, but that you're really thinking about it. And when it comes to skills and interests, differentiate yourself. So this is the point where you can differentiate yourself. There is so many students that study the same. So this is your point to show, hey, I'm different from them. So outline what are the skills that you can put there and the interests that make you different, and things that you have accomplished. And in the end, also that you think that will bring added value to that specific position. And when it comes to your academic experience, I put you here some examples of how you can put it. For example, also if it's something more specific, and that is not just, let's say, a bachelor in marketing that essentially is more obvious what it is about, then also add a description about it, because people abroad, they will not know what your university is unless it's a very famous one. They will not know what were the main points of it. So try to also in one sentence explain what the major was about. And then when it comes to your professional experience, first you need to filter. If you have a lot of different professional experiences, choose the main ones that will help you towards getting that position and show your qualification for it. But then also always try to include not just where you worked and where you worked and what you did, but quantifiable achievements, because that will also show how good you did your job and how much effort you put into it. So always try to have that in mind as well. And when it comes to extracurricular activities, so this is very, very much for you to set yourself apart and to show what you care for and so on. And also certifications. For example, if you're like very big on LinkedIn, you see now in the pandemic, everyone has started to do these free online courses. And if you have LinkedIn Learning, you can add all of those certificates beautifully to your LinkedIn. So if you have seen a lot of people do this, this is a way to show, hey, this is how I like to use my time. I like to learn and become better in certain fields. This is what I have done. So also add those things. And if you feel like you have a lot of these certifications, it's always smart to link your LinkedIn profile to your like details. So then people will see what you've been doing, because your CV says one thing, but if you're actually actively representing yourself and the things that you're doing on LinkedIn, then this is kind of your continuation of the CV, right? And this is also what a lot of people will be looking at. What are you doing on a daily basis? So that would be my hint for you as well. I think a lot of people are checking LinkedIn. And yes, so that would be the main things from my side in terms of like doing an internship with AIESEC, how to get started there, and also in terms of what you can do to boost your CV and to get through to the next phase, because this can be the tricky part sometimes to pass this first phase. There's even algorithms that sort out people sometimes. So if you can nail your CV, then you can also progress in your selection process. And with this, like generally here, this is also my call to action. Stay in touch with me and add me on LinkedIn. So if you have more questions or you want to talk or connect, I'm super happy to connect with you. But I'm super open to answer all your questions now, because we still have time for questions. I hope it didn't go too fast. I know I'm a fast speaker, and that you could get something out of it, but you will also get the slides. So you can take them, you can also, and you can then look through it more briefly. So the first question that I have here is if there's traineeships for language bachelors. Actually, yes, because we recently introduced a new program, because in our global talent programs, one trend that we have been seeing that we have a lot of positions for languages, for language teaching, for example, online. And that's why we have designed a new program that is called Global Teacher, which is paid internships from 9 weeks to 18 months that you can do and you can teach. And that's a very cool thing, actually. So if you're interested for that, you don't click on Global Talent, but you click on Global Teacher when you go to the platform, and you will see more information there. And yes, then we have another question. Yes, so for the degree, okay, so the question was, to be a graduate, is it enough to have a bachelor degree or do you need a master? It is more than enough if you have a bachelor degree. Sometimes even due to, for example, visa processes or so on, you even need to be still a registered student to have the internship. But in general, if you have a bachelor, you're more than set to be selected for different positions. So don't worry about that. If you have a master, even better, but it's not a must for sure. And then, do you provide internships with other companies and institutions, or are they with AIESEC directly? I really love this question, because actually we as AIESEC are certainly the middleman. So the internships are never with AIESEC directly. They're always with another stakeholder. So they're with our partner companies. So as we're working with our partner companies, we're publishing their positions online. And then our job is to help you through the entire process from start to finish, and to help you to be integrated in your experience, to navigate things with your employer if there's anything to navigate, and to support you through your experience. But they're never with AIESEC. You can join AIESEC, of course. So for example, like me, this is how I started. I joined AIESEC and developed there and volunteered for AIESEC until it became a high level that is then paid. But generally, the positions are always through partner institution. Do you have any advice for an application? I think my biggest advice would be to, first of all, like when you sign up, you get a local manager assigned, so you can always get in touch with them and ask them questions. Also, I would recommend you to apply to multiple opportunities, because when you apply, you don't know what is the state of the opportunity. Maybe that position is already almost selected, or yes, so you don't know. So I would recommend you to apply to multiple positions, and also to really write all your skills there, because what we can see on the backside as well is what is your percentage of match with the required skills. And if you're not putting all your skills there, then maybe we're not getting an accurate image of you. So always try to really put all your skills there. And if it says require a certain background required, don't feel discouraged by that. You can still apply if you have a little bit of a different background. So don't feel discouraged by that. I would also say that. And then, okay, so I went and looked for internships and volunteering roles on your website, and I saw that you would have to pay for opportunities. Is this standard? Are there volunteering internships that do not require payment? That's also a very good question. So how it works is that if you're going on a position through AIESEC, is that when as long as you're applying, you don't have any fee to pay. But once you get accepted and you also decide that this is something you want to do, then you have to pay a servicing fee. So that depends on where you're located in. They vary a bit from country to country, but you have to pay the servicing fee, because this is how, like, we're not for profit and not political organization, but we still somehow need to finance us, right? So this is our way to cover the service and to cover our basic expenses. But if you're going on a global talent, you're anyways paid over 8 weeks. So you will have a normal salary. And if you're going on a voluntary internship, in almost all cases, accommodation is fully covered as well. So that is also provided by AIESEC. And where can I find your offer programs? I'm glad that you like the presentation, and it will also be shared as far as I know. So don't worry about that. And then where you can find the offered programs, if you go on AIESEC.org, it's not AIESEC Newton. It's not like AIESEC Newton. I know it's a bit hard to spell sometimes, but you can see the logo anyways here. So if you go on AIESEC.org, you can filter all the programs that we have open online as well. And as we're approaching the summer months, so as you can imagine, the summer months is usually our peak months. So keep an eye out, because we'll be opening more opportunities gradually in the coming weeks. So things are changing fast. So if you haven't found yourself the thing that your ideal internship from this search, just like try to check in once a week if something changes, because things change quite fast. And can I apply if I'm still in my bachelor? Absolutely. So of course, there's some internships that require your bachelor's to be done, but also there's a lot of them that you can still study, and that's perfectly okay. Some even require that you're still a student. So for example, if you apply in France, I know that this is a requirement. Also, if I'm not fully mistaken, in Germany, this is also one of the requirements, that you're registered as a student. So don't worry and don't feel discouraged by that. You can do it. And then, are there certain time periods when there are more offers? I think I just answered that. Basically now in the next months, there will be the high peak, because summer is usually our peak. So you can expect the most openings probably between April and May. So I would recommend you to always check back. And if you like something, then apply right away, so it's not going to be gone, because also sometimes our processes go quite fast in selecting a person. And then, can you still access AIESEC when you have graduated? Of course you can. So our age limit is 30. So if you're under 30, then that's not a problem. And also if you're graduated and you look for a longer time position, I would recommend you to check for 6 to 18 months positions, because our partners, they're looking to retaining talent that they're also building up. So that can be a very good way for you to maybe also look into a longer term position. Cool. So, do we have any more questions? Do you have offers also for tourism sector, considering COVID situation? So this is a very good question. I'm not sure right now. So generally also with COVID, this sector, of course, has been hit a lot. So probably rather less in this time, but also I would recommend you to check on the platform if you can find something right now, and if not, to sneak back, but it is definitely less than other sectors. Good. If we don't have any more questions, then we're finishing very much on time. I didn't expect this. Great. I will also be at the info booth in just a second, so you can join me there, and you can click on the video button next to my name, and you can join me on the Zoom call, and we can talk more about it. I'm super happy to chat. And with this, I'm also wishing you a good weekend ahead. I hope you had a great fair. From my side, it was very cool to talk to many of you at the stand and to get some insights as well on what you're looking for. Also, I have met some AIESEC alumni, which was also great to talk and to see. Yes, and with this, have a good rest of the day.